The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that...
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
It's Tuesday, the 3rd day of February 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, and please welcome Taj Donville Otterbridge, and we'll have Teo deal with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news. Welcome, Taj.
Good morning, everyone.
Well, Taj, you first joined us like a year ago when it was almost a year ago. It was an election, and you came on, and now we're happy and proud to welcome you as a member of the TDH team. How does it feel?
It feels great. I'm looking forward to having important community conversations, especially around politics and giving the youth perspective. So excited.
Indeed. No, it's encouraging. It's encouraging. And folks, if you don't know, Taj disagrees with everything I say. I'm joking. But he's been a normal commentator in the audience. He, Teray, and a number of young people continue to write inspiring. I don't want to say articles, even op-eds, but I'm thinking of the right word because they are so above just simple like op-eds to me. But they write these pieces that give you hope. They give you hope, whether you agree with them or not. They challenge your thoughts. So looking forward to you adding that to this show, and I'm sure that the audience will be just as engaging. So welcome, Taj. And James Burgess says good morning to the Daily Hour team. So I'm watching and listening to you and your guests. We appreciate you, James Burgess. Usually you're on LinkedIn or Facebook. Welcome to YouTube, James Burgess. We've got Suzanne Ingham over on Facebook says it's a super awesome, nippy, cold day out there, Jamal and Taj. Welcome, Taj. It's great to see you and have you in the TDH house. Awesome. And you stay warm, Suzanne. Stay warm. It's not easy out here. Real quickly, Taj, did you see the video going around of the Oleander ship that people are sharing? I guess it was making its way to Bermuda full of containers. And I'm like, you couldn't pay me to do that job.
Not a disco, huh?
Like the boat's going, like the waves are bigger than the boat.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you couldn't get me on the ocean on the calmest day on Shelly Bay talking about going out on a, nah, we're not going to do that. Anyway, folks, thank you all. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We have a good one today as we welcome Shantel DeShield on from Pocket Change BDA. She'll be sharing how she's empowering young people through financial literacy. And when I say, I was introduced to her at Grotto Bay last year at the BDC Entrepreneurship Week festivities. And Traveling Trotty, I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it out there because, sharing my business with you. But she, been a member of TDH family before TDH began, and she introduced us. And I'm going to, accept responsibility for this. I didn't know about it. And I'm happy that I found out about it and really looking forward to the conversation because we talk about financial literacy. We talk about this stuff in our community, but are we really doing anything? This is a person who's doing something about it. So really looking forward to the conversation with Ms. Shantel DeShield. And folks, the daily play today is Remember When. So I haven't picked out a question yet, but it's going to come from the Black History Bermuda Trivia Edition. So we're going to, test Taj today on his first day. We're going to see what's up, Taj. All right. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve the community. All right, let me put the questions out. All right. So, Secure BDA 441 saying, good morning, TDH family. Welcome, Taj. Looking forward to your insights and views. Indeed, we all are. Well, let's the questions of the morning are going to be very simple. What are your thoughts on the government's response to the 2023 cyber attack? And also just a yes or no, do you believe the government has been transparent enough about the 2023 cyber attack? Now, what is Jamal on about today? Because you all just think I rant and, whatever. So let me put it to you like this. All right. Back in September 2023, our entire government IT system was hit by what officials described as a sophisticated cyber attack. It was one that crippled email, phone systems, online payment, land registries, and many other public services almost overnight. The attack was so serious that the government took networks offline to contain the threat, and agencies, including the police and overseas cybersecurity partners, were involved in the response. All right. Now, at the time, Premier David Burt acknowledged that it was a deliberate external attack, and early reports speculated it might have all the hallmarks of a ransomware breach, where data is encrypted and potentially stolen, and attackers demand a ransom for its return. In the immediate aftermath of this, government officials said there was no confirmed evidence that personal data was taken, although there were circumstantial indications that data could have been compromised. Now, despite this uncertainty, the government chose to keep many details on the wraps while systems were restored and cybersecurity experts worked to reinforce defenses, including building a new, more secure network and establishing a dedicated cybersecurity incident response team, yet another committee. Now, more than 2 years later, a parliamentary Joint Select Committee is probing the attack, again, another committee, including whether a ransom was paid, but its chair says it's too early to disclose specifics. So that's where many Bermudians are left with questions. What exactly was taken, if anything? Was a ransom paid? Does the public have a right to know? And why has it taken so long to investigate? Folks, we just don't know. We have no idea. And respectfully, I'm shocked, absolutely shocked, that Bermudians are not more or louder about this, which tells me we probably don't understand the impact of what potentially went wrong. So that said, you've seen the questions, you've heard my little diatribe. All right. What are your thoughts on the government's response to the 2023 cyber attack? And do you believe the government has been transparent enough about the 2023 cyber attack? You're smiling, Taj. Seems like you got a lot to say.
I do. I think the first thing is, why did it take so long? I think an important question is, why did it take so long for them to establish a committee in the first place? It took almost a year for that to take place. And then the committee in and of itself, although it's bipartisan, it's still political. So it's still a political parliamentary joint select committee. So there is no civil servants, there is no independent kind of perspective or oversight for that committee and what they're reviewing. And there's no cybersecurity experts on that committee, which is also interesting in my opinion. I think the government ought to have shared not necessarily the intimate details, because I understand the national security risk around that, especially given you never know who is watching, and the attackers themselves may be paying attention to what you're saying. But I think the government should have definitely said what types of information were breached, what categories, even if it necessarily wasn't people's personal information, surely they were after something. And if they weren't after something, they were trying to negatively affect some government system. So I think they know that for sure. They must know that, because they got an independent report that they didn't publish yet.
And I think, you said something, Tosh, and I agree with you. And I don't think we're saying it to defend the government, but in instances like this, you have to be cautious about what you do make public, right? You have to protect people in that manner as well. However, I think the public does have a right to, was my social insurance number taken? Is that going to be impacted, right? Were my passport details taken, right? Department of Immigration, credit card information, if you've used a credit card to pay with for government services. I just think that I don't, again, and maybe you can answer this, maybe the audience can answer this. I don't understand why, and I'm going to use the airport, and this is not saying that the people who marched against the airport were wrong. I'm not saying that. But I wonder why we don't get up, make noise, and march about things like this. What we did for the airport, we did for the Wiggers with Dr. Ewart Brown. We've done so for so many things. I can't grasp why people are not louder about this. And the only people who have been loud is some Bermudian folks who are into the IT space because they understand it. So the only thing for me is that the general public can plead ignorance because they just don't understand it. But how do you get people to understand the impact or the implications of something like this? Because this is bad, and I don't think we've really, like, what's going to happen? One day you travel to a country and they scan your passport and someone's already in the country used it. Oh, I might be an extreme. I don't know. But audience, let us know. Do you believe the government has been transparent enough about the 2023 cyber attack? Do you think they've been? I don't think they have been.
No, I don't think so. Enough either.
Yeah. And we have to be careful in this because, again, going back to what Taj said, is, again, it's a sticky space. You don't want to reveal so much publicly where it can jeopardize, like put you in a worse situation. But at the same time, people have been left in the dark, and only a few people, look, one of them here is right here. Amari Simons has been loud about this, right, throughout social media, but where's everyone else? And I'm not trying to get people to gang up on the government. I'm trying to get people to understand the impact of what went wrong, what happened. If this was a private store and all of a sudden all your information that you've paid in that store, like, you would be up in arms. And in the US, when stuff like this happens, you may get a mail like years from now saying that here's a part of the payment. It's only 75 cents because it's 3.1 billion, but that's split up between about 300 million people. But you see my point?
Yeah. I definitely think there's political apathy in general. So I think that's contributing for sure to why people aren't paying attention to this. And also it's a technical thing, like you mentioned. So there's details that people don't necessarily understand what side of it that one. And the government, I think, has downplayed it in a way that has kind of, I guess, kept people away from it. And also it's like, maybe they don't know. I think that is a consideration. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they have nothing to share or nothing substantive anyway. So that's why they haven't said anything.
It's interesting because I don't like jumping on the rumor thing, but you've had people saying it's inside job. I'm not gonna, like, actually someone said it right. Suzanne Ingham says Gov is honest about I think she means isn't honest about much of anything. I heard that the threat was an inside job. I told a name. I say no more. I wait, watch, and keep my ear to the ground. So there's rumors. I don't jump on rumors. If there's one thing I don't do on this show is I've done it once. Get personal. Once of 1,300 episodes. I mean, I guess I'm excused. But anyway, I don't do that. And rumors, it's hard to, like, you don't want to put yourself in that position. But it must be said, if we're going to be honest and transparent, that the Premier of Bermuda, David Burt, he owned the IT company. He's an IT person, right? So you would, I'm not implicating him in any way. What I'm simply saying is you would think because of his expertise, he would be able to communicate more effectively with the public about this. Now, Renee Simmons says something very interesting. She says, what if we know nothing of what actually was happening? What is it that we question? That's it right there. The answer's in your question, though, right? Is ask questions so that you can ask more questions.
Yes.
That's the answer to your question. She says there's no information as to what, nor how we were impacted. Why haven't we been informed on anything? Why the secrecy? Again, I'm just going to keep going back to what Taj said. And I don't know if Taj wants to reiterate it, but it may be to protect us, to be honest. I know that sounds strange.
And you also don't necessarily want to say, even, and for example, about the ransom thing, you don't necessarily want to say if you paid a ransom, because then that opens you up to be attacked by other sources as someone who's vulnerable and willing to pay. So you don't necessarily want to say that publicly either. So it is a very sensitive issue with security. But the government definitely has a duty to share, even if not to the general public, to the individuals on an individual basis, or the companies on a company basis, if the information was breached, for sure.
Indeed. Tosh, let's go back to the audience. We've got Mark Arthur. He says, how can you have any committee on cybersecurity with a cybersecurity expert? This makes no sense. With or without?
Without, yeah.
Without. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I just saw that. Lawrence Scott. It's
Lawrence Scott, Dwayne and Dion from the OBA, and who else from the PLP? I can't remember.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, it's Jamal Simmons, Scott Simmons, Dwayne, Dion. Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, no ministers, which I thought was interesting as well. Not the minister of the cabinet office. Yeah, no ministers, which I didn't understand.
But have an outside IT. No one from the IC. I don't know. No. Okay. All right, let's go back to the audience. This is confusing. Folks, this is Daily Discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. WKD Lama says they should have provided all information as soon as the issue was resolved. An incident report is way past due. We're talking 2.5 years at this point.
Yes.
2.5 years. Monty BDA says clueless and asleep at the wheel at that time and since then.
Wow.
I mean, this is the governance we accept, though.
Yes.
It's like a relationship, right? I always say your partner is only going to do what they know that they're going to be able to get away with, right? Until you start setting some boundaries and some ground rules, they're going to do what, they know that they can get away with. And that's how the government operates. Let's be honest, folks. This is political, and I think Todd said it earlier, because you all know. David Burke. If you give him credit for nothing else, give him credit for knowing how to be a great politician. Because I tell you, if the PLP were opposition, you would have got answers.
Yeah, sure.
2 years ago, at minimum.
For sure.
And I think that's part of the problem. And this is no disrespect to the opposition. But, I don't want to call him out, but one of our colleagues on this show always says, how dumb is the opposition? Like, they don't know how to fight. Like, maybe PLP and David Burke could teach you how to be, and I'm not saying that in disrespect. I'm saying it to say, folks, 2.5 years, and you haven't found a way to generate interest to get the public on your side to get answers for them?
I think that's the key. I think they know. I think some of them know how to fight. I think an example of that is Dr. Doug DeCudo, and he was pressing on this for that initial report back when the petty request came out, and the cabinet secretary declined to publicize the report. But I think where the OBA and the opposition fall short is organizing people. Not necessarily fighting, but organizing.
And I'll give you, I'm going to second that. Dr. DeCudo and Dwayne Robinson have done a great job of that. And I want to correct something, and I should have said this as well. Sean Smith says, did you say Senator Dion Smith? He's on the committee. If so, he owns and operates an IT business at the same time. Yes, he does. Much respected. He does. And thank you for that, Sean Smith. Dion doesn't know what he's talking about in that space. Mark Arthur says, how can they play down this when my personal sensitive information is placed on the web? You had one, Tosh?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify something real quick as well. We have Minister Furbett in here who says ministers can't be on a select committee. So that answers that question, why there's no cabinet ministers on the committee.
Who minister is that?
Minister Tanae Furbett.
Oh, so hey, Minister. I didn't know how he knew that just from that. Okay, Traveling Trotty says, as outcome of this, has the government purchased cyber insurance? Well, that would be good information to know. Here's the thing. As we wrap this up, your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. I think the government probably has good reason why they have not shared the information publicly. And Taj will reiterate that there's good reason, but that doesn't mean that you can't communicate something to the general public to reassure them. I think that's where the disconnect is with this. There's been no reassurance in this space to the general public. And I am, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that if the PLP were opposition and David Burt were the opposition leader, we would have had answers that many of us probably are seeking. So, that's your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Real quickly, though, folks, just a yes or no. As all of you are tuned in, do you believe the government has been transparent enough about the 2023 cyber attack? Taj says no. I say no. What are your thoughts? Where do you stand on it all? What are your thoughts? We're gonna show some love to Titan Express and Secure. Minister Furbett. Well, I'm gonna since Taj says this, Minister Furbett says the Joint Select Committee can summon experts for information, but why can't experts be on there? I think that's the question. It's not whether or not they can summon them, but I mean, obviously, yes, Dion Smith is an IT person, a very respected one, but why can't they just be a part of it? Why do we have to summon them? I think that's the challenge. That's the question right there. We just asked whether or not you all believe that the government has been transparent enough. WKD Lama says no. Mark Arthur says no. Sean Smith says no. Suzanne Ingham says no, no, no. Allison Russell says no. So that said, I hope the government's listening. Just communicate with the people. Find a message. Explain why you can't share things. Effective communication. I'll give this to the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party. Nobody does effective communication than the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party when they're the opposition. What we'd love to see is that same effective communication as the government. I think I speak for most people when I say that, but I don't. Each person has their own mind and their words. Let's go to show some love to Titan Express and Secure, and then we'll go to the Daily Hour News Break with Teo Dill. And don't forget, we've got a very special guest today. I love these conversations. We're talking to Shantel DeShield, Pocket Change BDA, inspiring young people through financial literacy. Folks, this is a conversation. Remember what I say every day. If you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram, share the link, like, follow. Make sure everyone you know has access, because these conversations are for all of us. Don't go anywhere.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
I mean, I don't look at my phone during the show, but I took a little peek just now. I see I've got a lot of, texts from some good old politicians. I like that you all are tuned in. You tell me I tune in every day, but I like when I, tickle you all and you get all and whatever. But I'll respond after the show, not during the news, not during the commercial break. I'll respond after, because you all could have hit me up before this. You're probably like, oh, well, I didn't know you was going to talk about. Hey, communicate beforehand. Be proactive. Let people know. Let people who, with the penmanship or the mics, you got to talk to them. Don't wait till the conversation comes to the forefront. All right, we're going to go to the news break. Annoy me this morning.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to your TDH News Break, brought to you by the great folks at Peoples. We're still the Peoples you know, just growing in new ways to meet the world ahead. And there's been another huge milestone for Bermudian football. That is our Premier David Burt's in the Middle East in an effort to expand Bermuda's financial services reach into a brand new environment with an interesting banking system that I promise you're going to want to learn more about. During an official visit to Bahrain, Premier Burt highlighted the value of sharing expertise between two globally connected financial centers, explaining that his talks at Bahrain Central Bank focused on strengthening cooperation in areas like regulation, innovation, insurance, and digital finance. Here's the interesting part, though. Premier Burt specifically pointed to Bahrain's role as a regional financial hub, noting that its central bank oversees a system built largely on Islamic banking principles, which prohibit interest and emphasize risk sharing and transparency. Yup, you heard that right. Islamic banking prohibits charging interest on loans and actively attempts to spread the risk around to make everything that much more fair. Now, that doesn't sound like any bank I've ever done business with. I don't know about you, but, that's my experience. Here's a short explainer laying out a bit more about how Islamic banking works.
It is one of the best principles of Islamic finance, where the partners will share their profit and loss according to the part they played in the business. There will be no guarantee on the rate of the returns, and the Muslims will play the part of a partner and not a creditor. Interest, or riba, is prohibited, and some of its reasons are as follows. The wealth will get the return without any risk or effort. Regardless of the outcome of economic activity, the person who gets the loan has to return the money and riba to the lender. And taking advantages of the issues that others are facing is unjust.
And now what I got for you is a cricket story that most Bermudians probably will not be able to anticipate. There is an Indian cricket team, India as in the country of India on the other side of the world. There's an Indian cricket team called the Bermuda Blasters. Now, they don't play in Bermuda. They play in the Booyah Premier League, and they're not connected to our island in any way at all on any level. However, the Bermuda Blasters team name is very real, and they compete in India's domestic and semi-professional cricket circuits. So why did they choose to name their team after Bermuda? Reportedly, they've leaned into the island's global reputation generated by the Bermuda Triangle myth, the mystique, the power, imagery, and the idea of something hard to escape. The owners of the team thought that Bermuda Blasters sounded intimidating, international, and memorable, especially in a crowded cricket market. It's a reminder of something that we sometimes forget here. Bermuda punches way above its weight as a global brand. Even halfway around the world, our name, our island, still carries enough cultural charge to end up on a cricket jersey for players that have nothing to do with Bermuda. So, shout out to us. Now, as far as the weather's concerned, last night's heater weather is very likely to stick around throughout the day. So today you got to bundle up because it's going to be cold and windy straight up. We should catch a few sunny breaks, but blustery showers will keep rolling through, and those west-northwesterly winds stay strong and gusty for most of the day. The highs are only going to reach about 63, and with the wind, it's going to feel even colder than that. Things should calm down in the early evening or so, but for now, it's definitely a heavy hoodie kind of day. And that's your TDH News Break, brought to you by our friends at Peoples. I'm Teo Dill. Now back to the show.
Thanks so much. When I was looking at that just now, I was like, well, none of these fellas look Bermudian. But anyway, I want to give a shout out, big props to the young ladies on the 17 team. So you all know Shanta. She part of the Bermuda Communications Group team. She used to be responsible for the guests. But her daughter was the goalkeeper. Now, when Shanta told me that her daughter was going to called up for the team because she's much younger, I didn't know she was actually going to be playing, but she's good. Like she's been good, Kara. So I want to give a shout out to young Kara and all her teammates. That is the accomplishment. And folks, we spoke about this last week about supporting these young ladies, right? I stand by it, man. We've got to. I don't know if you remember everything I said, but if nothing else, just remember this here. We have to mentally just look at it like we're supporting Bermuda and Bermudians, not whether it's girl, boy, woman, man, none of that. Take the gender out of it and just think of it like Bermuda made it to the under 17 championship. I'm going to support Bermuda. Bermuda's qualifying for this. That's the way we have to start thinking of this. These young ladies are doing a thing, and they deserve our support. They deserve our respect. They've earned it. And even if they didn't, they're Bermudian. Let's make it happen. All right. I'm gotta go back watch that money story from Teo too.
Yeah.
Got some I got some questions. But folks, I just hope that when you all take in news, you're not just receiving it, but you're questioning things, because you all make me seem nuts because I question stuff. Real quickly before Taj, you do the days of the year. If it says joint select committees are made up of representatives of both houses, no, we get that. We're not disputing any of that. What we're trying to say is that there can be other committees that can involve outside people so that the public can feel reassured that this is not just some political thing. That's what we're saying, folks. Makes sense? All right, Tosh, what you got for days of the year?
Yes, I have a few. Well, today is National Women Physicians Day, so shout out to all the women doctors out there. Today is also National Carrot Cake Day, and carrot cake is my favorite cake, personally. So shout out to carrot cake. But it's also Take a Cruise Day. So I'll ask the audience, if you could cruise somewhere tomorrow, where would you go? What region, what country, what city? What would be your dream cruise destination?
You know, Taj, I've been on 2 cruises, 1999 and 2009, 10 years apart. And Taj, I'm not trying to be a party pooper. I'm not trying to be that negative person, but if I didn't go on another cruise for the rest of my 50, 60, 70 years, because I'm probably going to live to about 150. But if I never went on another cruise, I'm going to be okay, man. First off, what a question to or a day to have right after that video yesterday about that early ender out there in the ocean. Number one. Number two, did you see that documentary? I just started watching Netflix last year. I know I'm late, but it's called Poop Cruise, this documentary.
Yes.
Man, I'm not trying to, like, if you're a travel agent and you tuned into the show and that's what you do, I'm not hating. But I'm just saying, there's a few things that make me question the hygiene of being on a cruise. Now, that said, to answer your question, if I had no other choice and I was going on a cruise, I see they're going to Morocco now. And people went in there told me, oh, cruise to Africa. And I saw people joking, talking about, don't do it. That's how they got us over here, right? I didn't make the joke. I'm just sharing it. But my nana, man, bless her, she's in Melbourne now, but she didn't take her first trip to an adult. And when she did start traveling, she went throughout the world. And when I say the world, name a country, she had been there before it was popular to go missionary trips, whatever. But I believe she told me Alaska cruise was it. She saw the orcas and everything. So I'm going to go with an Alaska cruise. That's something that I would want to experience if it came down to it. How about you?
I've been on a few cruises. My grandma loves cruises, so she's always cruising and has always been cruising since before I was around. So she's probably been like your nana everywhere around every country, name it. I would say, I think someone put in here somewhere in China. I would also say somewhere in Asia, maybe Southeast Asia, Thailand, somewhere like that.
Okay, I honestly wouldn't have even considered the Asian cruise. Her in Mediterranean. James Burgess says, I've been on one cruise from Miami to Bahamas. That's like a jet ski ride, man. Good stuff. That's my kind of cruise. Not long at all. All right, folks, we've got to take a break. We've got a very special guest coming up, so do not go anywhere. In the meantime, if you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who continues to rock with us. We do get pictures sometimes of people with their dial on Hot 1075. Again, I just want to send love to everyone at Hot 1075, Stephanie in the background, Glenn Blakeney, the team over there on Magic 102.7 who continues to do their thing, Nikita Robinson, everyone. Folks, radio isn't dead. Radio is your community. Think about it. It's not music, it's conversations, it's engagement, it's you. We're going to take this break and we'll be back with Shantel DeShield. Do not go anywhere.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workbook for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Taj Dunville Bridge. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, HSBC, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring we can have these community conversations and pump through the radio airwaves with these daily regular conversations. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Real quickly, before we bring our guests on, we've got a few comments about the cruise thing. Catrice Ackerman says, I actually enjoy cruising. Set it and forget it. Pay one price and don't forget about don't think about anything else but fun and relaxation. Man, I thought that too. And then, because I used to be a drinker, like I used to drink a lot. That's why my memories know what I used to be. But man, I thought that too. And then at the end of the cruise, mama like, who spent it? I mean, so they got me. They got me. And that's cool. That's when I weren't paying my own bills like that. Nicole Walker says, I'm with Jamal, not a huge fan of cruises as not enough time in port. Yes, you feel rushed, like it's not a vacation. Allison Roswell says, definitely not a cruise lover. I like to explore places in which can take days versus hours. Exactly. I cannot. Another argument. Renee Simmons says, I've been on 12 cruises, mostly Caribbean, but also Egypt, Greece, and Italy, Alaska, and since Morocco is new, that sounds ideal. And then I was going to say this yesterday, I'll say it today. Along with new members of the team yesterday, we welcomed Sloan Johnson on. She did the news yesterday. Obviously, we have Taj. We have more new members coming on. So we appreciate your support. But also, yes, new sponsor alert. We want to big up Auto Solutions, who just signed on our first car partner for the year. So we are appreciative of them for the love that they're showing to Hot 1075 and the Daily Hour, but also HSBC Bermuda. You notice they weren't here January. We did a trial period for the final few months of last year, and they've come on for a couple of years. So we're multi-year. So we are thankful, grateful for the support of the work that we're doing. And that's why it's important to have people like Taj and people like you in the audience engaging, and guests like our guest coming on today, who, in my opinion, is doing the work our community needs. I don't want to give too much away, but let's give a warm TDH welcome. She's an educator, and she's doing the work and helping our young people where many of us, and I say us, myself, have fallen short. Thankfully, I had a mother who was familiar with, pensions and mutual funds and directed me in that space, in which I try to pass to my younger sisters. So let's give a warm TDH welcome. I want to make sure I don't press the siren. To bring on Shantel DeShield from Pocket Change. See, I knew I was going to press the wrong one. Here we go. Morning, Shantel.
Morning. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. First off, thank you for your patience, because Taj talks a lot, so we were a bit late. But first I gotta ask you. Taj was talking about taking a cruise. What's a cruise that you would go on? Like, what's a cruise destination you would take?
So I have traveled on cruises before, Caribbean cruises.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say I love the Caribbean. And it was a lady that mentioned about she doesn't like them because it's like you just stay there for like a lunch break and then you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand that aspect. But if I could go on a cruise, I think you could sign me up for the Morocco one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Morocco is Northern Africa, right? Is that Northern Africa? Yeah. Okay, so it's not. So we're good, folks. We're good. It's not. Yeah. I'm not. Forgive me, folks. I'm just like repeating what I saw online, and you know what happens when children do that? They get in trouble. Shantel, thank you for doing this though, because like I said, we met at Grotto Bay during the BDC event, and I honestly had no idea, and that's on me. Because as a person who tries to remain up to date with everything that's going on in the community, I should definitely have known more about something this important that you are doing. But for those who don't know you, just tell the audience a bit about your background and a bit about what you do and who you are. Uh-oh. I think she's frozen, folks. Oh.
Okay, I think we're back.
Okay,
I don't know what happened, but it came back. I'm back.
No worries. Yeah,
Sorry,
I was just let's tell the audience a bit about your background, who you are, and what it is that you do.
Okay, so my name is Shantel DeShield. I have been an educator at the Barclay Institute for almost 20 years. I actually taught Taj. In 2020, I decided to start a business called Pocket Change BDA, and how I would say stumbled upon the idea. It was during COVID, and I was just like, I've been working for this long, but my life's not changing, and I wanted life to change. So I started to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, wow, if I would have learned this information as a kid, I probably would have been so much more further ahead financially. So put my teaching hat back on, put my mom hat on. I also have a son. And I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to know this information. So I started Pocket Change.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Certain books, and I have that book. I've yet to read it. But it was, and it's so, and I'll tell you why. Because I have this tendency to start reading a book, and before I finish it, I start reading another book. So I have like 5 books that I'm just reading at a time, and so then I forget about one. So forgive me. I'm not organized in my brain in life. So I'm trying to get better. But that just inspired me to read the book. Read the book. Taj did say before the show, she was my teacher, and I'm like, is that old? No disrespect, but I just was a bit surprised. Guys look the same age.
That young. We got better like wine,
Absolutely. But what inspired you really to create Pocket Change? Like in terms of seeing, like, did you see a gap when it came to young people outside of yourself, or like as an educator, did you see something that was not taking place in the school that you said, okay, I need to change this if it's not going to happen in the school system?
Okay, yes, indeed. As a parent, I would definitely say, raising my son, there wasn't financial opportunities or information or education for that matter. And then being a teacher within the system, also, I'm public school educated, as well as my parents are public school educated. So in talking to generations of people, it was like, this is not a part of our learning. And I was like, you know what, we need this. It's something that we as a people, we lack. We don't have that information. And even from a demographic perspective, in Bermuda, I would say that people that look like you and I have little or no financial education in their background.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was from that notion that I was like, you know what, we need to do this. And then also my grandmother, she used to tell me stories about my great grandfather. His name was St. George Braun, and he owned like over 12 grocery stores in Bermuda at one point, like before I was born, of course. And
that's a very influential man. I've heard that name.
Yeah. So St. George Braun had over 12 grocery stores in Bermuda, but he owed the bank money, and they took all of his stores instead of just one to compensate his debt. And in these stories, I was like, whoa, like, wow, my grandpa was able to have these stores, and if he would still have these stores today, then my family, our position wouldn't be what it is. So I understood the concept of generational wealth, right? And I was like, okay, now how can I do this for my family? And I started with the business Pocket Change BDA, Building Dreams and Assets.
Real quickly before you ask your question, Taj, it's interesting because I'm not sure I was talking to recently. I may have said it on the show. No, I did. Yesterday I said on the show, I said, you know, as far as Black history in Bermuda, is like we don't have any Black-owned grocery stores, banks outside credit union, not got like the necessities, reinsurance companies, major insurance companies, like we just don't have them. And what a lot of people don't realize is that we had these opportunities. I mean, we only have one major Black-owned media company, which is Inter Island Communications. Like, talk about narratives, right? Like media, you know, narratives. Malcolm warned us about that. So I completely understand what you mean with that and the importance of ensuring that, you know what, we didn't allow this was allowed to happen then, but this is how we're going to prepare generations to come to ensure it doesn't happen going forward. Go ahead, Todd. Sorry.
Yes. So Pocket Change focuses not just on budgeting and dollars and cents per se, but also on building a mindset and confidence around financial literacy. So why is it important to teach that part alongside the actual financial skills?
Okay, so in anything that we do in life, our mindset is critical to our success, right? So cultivating a growth mindset or a confident individual, that comes with certain teachings, learnings, and understanding, right? So it's always been my goal, and I'm gonna say this, as a Black woman, I believe that everybody, or not just a Black woman, but as a woman, I believe that we all should know our secret source, like what we have that makes us different from everybody else. And Pocket Change is a impetus for putting young people in positions to build their confidence, because when you build someone's confidence, it's endless possibilities, endless things that they can achieve. And it's helpful for our society ultimately as well, right? Because one day the people that we teach or I teach are gonna be running the country, and a confident person, one, with a growth mindset, two, I think that that's a force to be reckoned with. And then also when you have confidence, you're not easily swayed to do things that may not go with your ethics or your morals.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. My next question is, how does Pocket Change kind of tailor the education across different age groups? Because I know you start very young and then go all the way up to 18. And then what role do families and parents play kind of in the progression of the young people?
Okay. So as Jamal said, I'm an educator by trade. So I can teach any age group of people. So with the young kids, we tailor it in a way that it's to their language and their learning styles. And more importantly, the information that we teach, let's say a 6-year-old versus a 14-year-old, we can be talking about budgeting, but it's just executed or delivered in a way that is based off of the level of understanding, right? And then when we come to the perspective of the family, because all of this in essence is so that we can work together within our families, one, and then within our society, two, right? So I also offer workshops for parents so that if your child's coming to Pocket Change workshop workshops or camps, and they go home, who they're going to talk to about what they just learned, right? So it's important to do the full circle. So I offer workshops for parents as well, so that as a family, we can communicate and talk about finances together, which is something that also is taboo within our culture.
Yeah.
Interesting there. My nan always stressed the importance of financial. We always talked about it. We always went through budgets together, and we opened my bank account when I started working, and so I always kind of understood the importance of that. My next question is about entrepreneurship and kind of what habits are kind of necessary for young people to have, not just like I said, work and make money, because a lot of young people do work and have an income like I did, but how to build that long-term kind of financial sustainability and independence as they become an adult and go through college or work.
So, like you said, I teach financial literacy to people as young as 5, right? So if we teach financial literacy as a means of, like how we teach about hygiene, or we teach about making time, if we incorporate that into the facet of our lives, that this is essential in order for anybody to be successful, no matter what you do in life, I believe that we can have positive results in that department. And then as far as entrepreneurship, financial literacy equates to financial freedom, which equates to empowerment, right? So if I'm empowered, I know that I can do certain things, right? So let's say I work with young people. I speak in the workshops that I've had, I've spoken to young people, and they say they want to start their own businesses. And one young lady, I was like, before you came to our workshop, did you feel empowered enough to start your own business? And she was like, no. She was like, because I didn't know anything about money, and I know that when I understand how money works, I know that my business will be successful. And then to the point, Taj, when you mentioned about your grandmother opening up your bank account, being involved in those money conversations, I think that that is amazing. However, I do think that, it's far and few stories between yours like that. My parents, I love my parents, they're amazing parents. I had a really good childhood. But my daddy used to say to me, yeah, save your money. He would just tell me to save my money, and I was saving my money. But to my point, I was like, but my life's not changing. So I understood the part about saving. Yes, you have to save, but then you save to invest. And I never knew that part. So when I found out that part, I was like, okay, this right here, this is the gem. This is how we change our lives right here.
Yes.
And then from there, we talk about investing. And as somebody that grew up like me, public education, investing was investing. Investing wasn't for people that look like me or you. It was for rich white guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'm in spaces where I can teach young people. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not a financial. I don't tell you what to invest in. I give you the education. You know what I'm saying? I provide the education so that you can then go out and pursue other things.
I want to real quick, audience, if you have any questions or comments for Shantel, send them through. But I want to say this, because if you watch this show, you've heard me say this, use this example quite a lot. But I've said on this show what Shantel just said. I had a colleague when I was living in New York who went to do her daughter's taxes, and her daughter must got a big refund back. And the tax guy was like, "Oh, what's she gonna do with this?" So, "Oh, she's gonna put it in a savings account." And I've been, teaching this to people, right? Is Chantal literally just said it. Like, yeah, I was saving money, but nothing was changing. And the difference, I'm going to share something because I'm like this. I'm going to share something very personal, and I hope this is used to inspire people, right? So my mom worked at one of the local insurance companies when I was very young, like very, very young. But I shared this with you all, that she taught me about pensions very early. Now, I also shared that she didn't live long enough to enjoy her pension, right? But one of the things she told me early on beyond pension is mutual funds, right? So you don't have to be an expert in finances or anything to get mutual funds. Well, A couple weeks ago, we talked about GoFundMe's and the government creating these accounts for people on here. And I'm not rich. I don't make a lot of money. I don't have a lot of, assets or anything. But one of the things I was able to do when I was living with my family was start mutual funds. Mutual funds helped me do two things. One, pay for my graduate school. But number two is in these United States of America, the healthcare system is the worst in the world that I've experienced, right? And so you can have insurance and still get dropped a $5,000-$10,000 medical bill. I felt privileged that I was able to have a mutual fund that had made a lot of money on it over the last 10 years that I could dip in to say, you know what? I'm going to put this such and such towards and pay off these medical bills. I'm sharing that because you know that saying, Shantel, where families, I don't know, Taj, if they still said it with your generation, but save for a rainy day. Yeah. I saw it as invest for a rainy day. And I'm saying that to emphasize the point that Shantel is making, folks, about, again, you put that money in a savings account. What's charging you for savings accounts nowadays? But if you invest, if you understand it, whenever people tell me, especially Black people, oh, my savings account, say, no, talk to me about your investing account. So I just wanted to use myself as an example to stress the importance of what she just shared, because I want this information to get through our noggins that folks, they've been doing it for ages. We're just catching on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason.
Yes, and also investing. So I've been talking to some of my colleagues, right? And I'm like, you really should get into investing. If you put $5 in your bank account in a month's time, you're not gonna have $5. And this isn't this to the side. We need banks, yes. However, we have to leverage the banks so that we can be successful, So I'm like, come on, let's just start learning to invest in $10. Oh no, it's so tight. You're scared to lose $10, but you put it in the bank and not have $10.
Yeah.
So it's really, again, back to a mindset, a shift in the way that we think. It's essential. As an educator, financial literacy or financial empowerment is essential, especially to where we are socially as a people.
Yes.
My son is blessed to go away to university on a scholarship, However, I know that a lot of people that work professional, just like you and I, are not able to afford college education for their children, right? So I say to parents, educators, and students, I'm like, you know what? But if you understand finances and how it works, no matter what you do with your life, you can be successful because you understand how to get money, grow your money, as they say, flip the bit, flip it. You understand how to compound your money.
Yeah.
Whether you just graduated with a GED and you're pursuing your fireman, or if you are an engineer at Balco, or if you do cosmetology, you can be financially successful if you understand how money works, what you have to do to grow it, and the mindset that you need to have. And that's something that is my mission for us as a community.
I love that.
Me too.
I love what you just said. Your job title, position, or income doesn't matter. It really, the mindset is what matters. That's big. Sorry, Taj, go ahead.
Yes. So you mentioned it earlier about one young lady and her business, but what other changes have you seen in young people as they go through your program? How do they think about money? How do they think about life in general and what they want to do career path wise?
Okay. So I definitely want to say, young people that take part in my program definitely leave with information, education, a better way of looking at something. So I had a young man. No, this was a middle school age workshop. It ran from 9 to 1. And this young man, it was about 15 young people there. It was a good experience. This young man, he didn't want to come at first. His mom was like, I had to drag him. guess what? He showed up to the following workshop a few months later, and he's like, I need to keep learning this information because this makes me feel good. And I know that I could do what I need to do or want to do in life because I know this. That's what he said. Even like I have a group that I work with, young men, and I give them information about investing, like different ways, different platforms, different types of investing, all of that. And they've used that as the impetus to start learning and teaching themselves, reaching out to people that are more financially certified to give certain information. They've reached out to these people and they're learning things that I didn't know when I was 18 years old. And we meet on weekends, right? So if you guys know teenagers, we were once teenagers, he's coming to a meeting on a Saturday as a teen. Know what is doing that? Well, these young men every Saturday come. We're supposed to meet for an hour. It goes for about 3 sometimes. And it's a great space for young men. And as a woman, I understand that, and this is just a caveat, but I feel like I have to say it. As a woman, I feel like there are places and spaces for us. We got the whole, empowerment, our girl tribe, all of that. But for the young man within our community, also as an educator, I see that there aren't spaces for them to have certain discussions, to talk about certain things that may be insecurities to them, but they can't talk about it to a woman. So I created this space. Yes, I'm a woman. However, a lot of times we have guests that are men. And it's very important. It's essential for young men. However, it's essential again for us as a community because we need positive, strong, empowered, for lack of a better word, young men.
Indeed.
And yes, Pocket Change BDA is for everyone. However, as a boy mom, it's a special place in my heart for the young man out there. And in this year, things to come with Pocket Change. Hopefully, we have something special for the young man.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that.
All right.
Yeah.
We've got a question from the audience. Kiara Emel asking, do you have any resources available that can help kids learn more about financial literacy?
That's a great question. So we actually have our financial literacy flashcards. They're sold at People's Pharmacy, Classic Kids, Talk Shop, as well as on our website. We are also launching a budgeting book this in a few weeks and some other resources. So stay tuned for that. You can follow us on our Instagram page at Pocket Change BDA. And then I also have some camps coming up for young kids. But something that parents, I would say, of primary school age children can start using is the 3-jar system, where you have a saving jar, a budgeting jar, and an investing jar. And young people can start to learn how to budget in that capacity using those resources as well.
All right. We've got Polly Rich asking, where should young people, say 10-year-old, just starting to save, put their money today if banks are not worth the effort?
I would say you can get the, so I'm gonna say this, Shantel DeShield. I practice the envelope system. So when I got money, I always spread it out throughout my envelopes. And this is something that I've been practicing for 5 years. Again, imagine if you got your first job at 14 and you're practicing the envelope system, how successful you could be financially, right? So the envelope system is a really great way to start to save or to learn how to save and budget, and also split up your money into, you know how they say the 50-30-20 rule is how you should be spending your money or using your money. So if we create the envelope, which could be symbolic of breaking your money up into 50-30-20, I think that would be a great start for a teenager, a young person. primary school age, I would definitely say the 3-jar system. And then also talking to him about money. Like my son's 20, and anytime that he makes money or whatever, even gets money for a gift, I'm like, okay, so what do you do with your money? If he tells me he's going to spend it all, I'm like, okay, you're not listening. You're not listening. But if he says, Mama, I'm going to save half or save $30 and I'm going to put, okay, no, you're paying attention to the information. So what you want is to just get them familiar with, not just spending the money. You want to say, okay, what are you going to do with your money? What is the plan for your money? Every dollar that we earn should have a job. So if your son that's 10, it's his birthday and he got $50, okay, so say to him, okay, son, so what's something that you want to buy with your money? Okay, let's say he says a football or a PlayStation, right? Okay, so say, son, so you need to see how much it costs for a PlayStation, because you're not going to use this money right here to buy your PlayStation. We're going to take $50, says $50, we're going to take $30 out and put it towards that, so that by the time your birthday comes or November, because we set a goal, right? We set a goal to when we want to purchase this. And then every time he gets money, you practice that. And that can help too.
We're not going to keep too much longer, but Renee Simmons says, you get charged for investing as well. There's an administration fee, but it's well worth the overall investment. The impact it has on the percentage gain. The downside is market volatility. Now, real quickly, I want you to address this, but in my lifetime, the market has always bounced back, right? It has always bounced back. But there are people who, again, I know of people, when they see the market go, they take all the money out, right? And that's it. And how do you, going back to mindset, how do we get the mindset in our community to change to understand that this is the long game?
So, and again, something that I also teach is delayed gratification, because us as a people, let's say we're going through a stressful situation. We're like, okay, yeah, I need to go shopping. I need some relief. Like, what do people call it when they shop? And I can't think of the term, but when you just go shopping and you splurge just because of how you feel at the moment.
Retail therapy.
Retail therapy, yes, that. So when I was in school, let's say somebody did bad on a exam. Oh, I need some retail therapy. Instead of saying to ourselves, okay, let's not do that. Let's delay this feeling, because most feelings and emotions that we have only last, 3 minutes, 90 seconds or something like that. I can't remember. So we have to learn delayed gratification, but you get better at not compulsively shopping when you have a plan. So I'm a tourist. They say a tourist could spend $1,000 in 2 seconds and then save $17.87 for 3 weeks. Yes, we can do that. But when you save, when you budget and you're trying to be better at managing your money, when you start to see, okay, well, oh yeah, I'm doing this. Okay, no, I'm saving. Okay, yeah. Oh, I got $5,000 in the bank there, or I got $10,000 in the bank. So when you see that what you're doing is working, you start to be less inclined to be emotional or a compulsive shopper. And I can testify to that. Like, I love sneakers and shoes. So before I would just buy it. Now I'm thinking like, okay, let me Shantel, you can't just buy these shoes because you're saving girl, and that saving girl is what you're gonna use to buy something or do something that's gonna make your life better. So it's like, no, I'm not gonna buy these shoes now. So I would say once you start to practice saving and budgeting and you see the benefits, I think that you'll be more strategic in how you spend your money. I have a client, a young lady. I'm helping her to get out of that with doing something, and a large part of it is her mindset. Like, she's working out now, she feels better about herself, she's saving, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this because it feels good, right? So and again, as an educator, I would love to get into education in the capacity of like going to other schools, moving to other schools to teach financial literacy as a start, and then maybe we can also then teach other teachers because I'm also certified in the DYM curriculum, where I can certify other teachers to teach this financial literacy, 21st century professional skills and social emotional learning curriculum.
I feel like that's a no-brainer to kind of get it in. I don't know what the hesitation for. I mean, maybe that's political. I just don't see what the hesitation would be to get the conversations in the classroom.
And again, I want to definitely highlight my colleagues. They are amazing. But I do know that, again, I attended public school, right? So I know certain things that are offered. I know what I didn't have, which is what I'm teaching. My son is public educated. He didn't have this. My cousins that are older than me, my parents, you know what I'm saying? So this is what Pocket Change BDA offers. Is not offered in public school education or in education, any capacity, any packaging in which I'm presenting it. Now, do children learn about finances? Yes, but it's not everyday layman term finances. It's if you want to go into business,
yes,
you're gonna learn about money like that. But everybody, no matter, like I said, no matter what you aspire to do or be in life, you should have financial IQ.
Indeed. One last question from the audience before we let you head out. And you know, it's usually my final question, but who am I to speak instead of Ms. Rashida Godwin? It's asking, how can we get in contact? For those who, obviously a lot of people are taking what you have to say this morning, Shantel. How can they reach out, learn more, and get a part of what you're offering?
So you can reach out at to Pocket Change BDA on Instagram. You can email us at pocketchangebda@gmail.com. Or you can also visit us on our website, www.pocketchangebda.com. And we'll be glad to hear from you. Looking forward to it.
And for someone tuned in, real quickly, last question. If someone tuned in today, right? Parents, guardians, young people who are just entering workforce, what would you say is a first step they can take following this show?
Well, first, I would tell them to follow us on Instagram. And then secondly, I would say start reading. One great book, like I said, is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Another one is The Richest Man in Babylon. That's a really great read as well. So I think that starting from a place of interest and wanting to learn, and then it's just little steps that you have to take. You don't have to go from 100 to 1,000 right away. You can go from 1 to 5. And if that means, okay, I'm saving $5 a week, or if that means I want to learn more about money, I need to change my mindset, is a start, you know. We offer small group and one-to-one sessions as well. And yes, Pocket Change BDA, Building Dreams and Assets, are we got started because we wanted to empower young people financially. However, we also offer other things within our remit at Pocket Change BDA. So like Tosh discussed entrepreneurship, we encourage entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is freedom. Yes, we need worker bees, but we also need people to have confidence and be competent enough to establish businesses that we can work for, and be position ourselves better economically.
I want to just emphasize one more thing before you go. Capital R, capital E, capital A, capital D. I don't want that to be lost on people. Read. I think it was Dr. David Chapman who got me into Dr. Boyce Watkins. And I have read, I'm not going to take it as an insult that she named another book that I have, but I haven't read either. Richest Man book. Yeah. But I have, I've been reading, Dr. Boyce Watkins has, is it called Financial Lovemaking? And it's a book that, before you decide to take it serious with your partner, get married, these are the conversations you need to have. Dr. Boyce is one of the Black financial people that I, follow on social media, and I only follow people or things that, I'm learning from, right? Not a celebrity person. But in sharing that, I say that with love, that I think with Shantel and Pocket Change, Bermuda's got the very own Dr. Boyce Watkins. you know, in reading and trying to understand you, I didn't even realize the flashcards were sold in, you know, certain places. So my hope is that People's Pharmacy can tell you by the end of today that there's a store around there, because you have the tools, you answered the questions people had. And what I would like to say to you is Cop Match is a big spending time. Christmas is a big spending time. I look forward to having you back on around those times to really share how you know, children want what they see on commercials, but to inspire people to say no to this and yes to that. So hopefully this isn't the last time we have a conversation. I'm grateful that you made time, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much. I'm gonna send you some stuff that I want to run by you as well to keep the conversations forefront. So thank you so much, and I'm a 20-year-old son. Taj is my teacher. My goodness. Good genes. Good genes. Have a wonderful day.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. It was a great opportunity. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you, Taj. And I look forward to discussing again with you on the Daily Hour.
Talk soon. Thank you. All right. Shantel DeShield from Pocket Change BDA. Taj, man, that was awesome.
That's a very important conversation for sure.
That was awesome. Let's take our final break. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back. Taj is going to have to answer his first daily break, but we're going to give our final thoughts. I should read it now. So I haven't read it, so because I've been paying attention to Chantel. Dion Smith sent a message, says, "Good morning, Jamal. I pray all is well. I'm writing to formally clarify a matter of public record and recent confusion caused by mistaken identity. Dion Smith of Smith Technologies Limited is not a member of any government committee or advisory board in relation to the 2023 cybersecurity incident. Any statements, assumptions, or references that otherwise are incorrect due to prevalence of the name Dion Smith in Bermuda and internationally. There have been several recent instances of misidentification, including unrelated personal matters. Unfortunately, this has led to inaccurate associations being made." So, yeah, the Royal Gazette definitely had him there. It said Dion Smith, an opposition senator. So, yeah, Dion Smith is not on the committee. And that's important to note. It's important to note for this reason, because he's a respected IT professional. We were about to brag and say, at least we got an IT professional on the committee. Thank you for that clarification, Dion. We appreciate it. Folks, if you enjoyed that conversation with Shantel, if you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this conversation with your friends, family, and colleagues. So much important information was shared, discussed. Get those flashcards. I'm about to send my sister to get my niece some. I'll cover the cost. If I remember to pay it back. Don't go nowhere. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Noah's Ark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Every space has a message, whether it's a store, a government office, or a doctor's waiting room. With StoreTunes Radio, transform your environment with customized music and professional messaging that keeps people informed, engaged, and at ease. Easy to use, built for organizations of every kind. Powered by Bermuda Communications Group. StoreTunes Radio, the soundtrack to better customer experiences. Visit StoreTunesRadio.com to learn more. Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Taj Dongalada Bridge, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by our friends at the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 175. Thanks again to Shantel DeShield for stopping by, folks. Again, if you appreciated the discussion this morning, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Folks, it is time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. Bermuda Trivia is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Taj, this is your first one. It's a remember when. All right, remember when. Just kind of like history, Bermuda Trivia, but history. All right, you got this one. You know this one. What was the name of Bermuda's first black newspaper?
I don't know. I don't know the name. I think I remember hearing about it, but I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it.
A lot of people think this is the answer, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not the answer.
A lot of people think it's the Bermuda Recorder, but it's not. A lot of people, like people questioned it. It's not the Bermuda Recorder. It's not. Everyone thinks that it's not. There was a black-owned newspaper centuries ago called the Bermuda Times.
Bermuda Times.
Bermuda Recorder was not. We've had people challenge us on this. It was not.
Mm-hmm. The Bermuda Recorder is the most well-known, I guess.
It is, but it was not the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Bermuda Times. Yeah, centuries ago. It was a different Bermuda Times than the one later on years, but the Bermuda Times. No, you can go and I would encourage anyone who's interested in learning about Bermuda's Black history to pick up the book from Curb. Curb is one of our new partners as well. And Curb, that book has 5 centuries of Black history in Bermuda. That's where the Bermuda Trivia Black History game came from. You will learn things that you would blow your mind. It would simply blow your mind. Things we think we know that we have no idea, like the Bermuda Recorder. Trust me, pick up that book if you have a chance. Reach out to Curb. Not sure, check People's Pharmacy, see if they sell them, but pick up that book. I know I've seen that Bermuda bookstore as well. So check that book out. This is a perfect time for you to learn about things that many of us should know, don't know, or think we know. All right, Tosh, let's wrap it up. What are your final thoughts on this morning's discussion about the cyber attack and then the conversation with Shantel from Pocket Change BDA?
Regarding the cyber attack, I guess we'll see how everything continues to play out. And I suppose as the chair of the committee said, we should be hearing from them soon as their investigation is wrapping up. So I look forward to discussing it when all the information that they're going to put out is out. And regarding financial literacy, I think it's very important. And like you said, I think it's a no-brainer that it should be taught in schools. I always thought this should have been part of the family studies curriculum. When you learn how to sew, you learn how to cook. You should also learn how to manage a budget. So yeah, I 100% applaud my former teacher for taking on this project.
I'm still in disbelief. But you know what? I second you. I think as far as the cyber attack, it's a wait and see. But I think it's on us to ask questions to try to understand a bit more. Again, I do hope that the opposition can put a bit more pressure. Have a lot of love for Dr. Kudo and Dwayne in particular, who do challenge these things. But even backbenchers and government ministers, like, speak to your constituents about this. Reassure people. I would like to know, I have a social insurance number. I pay taxes. I would like to know what was found out. As far as the conversation with Shantel, these need to be ongoing. They need to be consistent. They need to be constant. These conversations are so important for our entire community, regardless of your status, title, or income. Seriously. I want to go back to a quote that my aunt Janet Maynard says, her grandfather told her, it's not what you make, it's what you save. No, change that. That was then. It's not what you make, it's what you invest, how you invest, and what you do with what you invest. Saving was great then. Investing, that's where we need to move. Love great grandpa, by the way. We've got Karen Edwards Simmons says financial literacy is taught in family studies. Says unfortunately the emphasis is in encouraging young people to take this course was not consistent. Okay, Taj, do you have any daily inspiration before we head out?
Yes, I do. I have a quote that actually popped into my mind as soon as I knew we were going to be doing this conversation with Mr. Shields by Russell Simmons. It's a famous quote. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that financial literacy, economic empowerment, and wealth building is going to be the last leg of the civil rights movement, because one step toward financial literacy takes you 2 steps toward personal empowerment.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for that, brother. All righty, folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Taj Bridge, Jamal Hartman, make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.